Hey, what's going on YouTube? MarineX back at it again. This might be an everyday carry bag that fixes that tactical itch that you may have. And as much as I love the Ready Pack, VertX has done it again. All right, so let's just compare these. I'm gonna give you a bottom line up front first, but I'm gonna compare these. These are probably what I think are gonna probably be VertX's most popular everyday carry bags. This is the VertX Ready Pack 3.0. This is the VertX Siege 25 liter. This is a 20 liter bag. This is 25 liters. Listen, there are the Ready Pack 3.0 is still a great bag, but there are going to be things about the Siege that I would take the Siege over the Ready Pack. Now, if you want to go only on aesthetics, Ready Pack all day long. If you have a bigger CCW, like you want to carry like 4 mags with you, Ready Pack all day long. That's about it. Okay, so there's going to be things about this bag that I really enjoy. First, VertX, let me give you a bottom line up front. If you're okay with the tactical look, I'm going to give you 3 nitpicks I have with this bag. If you can get past those and you're okay with the price, this thing is above $200, and then I would say go forth, make the purchase, because this has a lot of great features in it, whether it's an everyday bag, a get home bag, or a bug out bag. This bag can do like all of the above when it comes to that type of functionality. So this is the VertX Siege. It comes the 25 liter. They also have a sling version. It comes in 3 different colors. I have it in like their coyote color. So one thing I would say about this bag, I'm going to talk about the nitpicks I have off rip. I wish that the molly in the front, the laser cut molly, when you went to expand this pocket, I wish it expanded in a traditional sense. I mean, this thing expands, and when it expands and all the molly becomes canted. So now if you put anything on this molly webbing, it starts to open up like a book. And so traditionally when people have these expansion packs, they just it expands together, and it has the compression straps and expansion straps together. That's kind of weird choice for that. There's not a lot of loop lining like a lot of companies are going to. Eberly Stock, Brown Buffalo, VertX themselves. This kind of went back towards organization. It almost makes me feel like a Ready Pack 2.0. And when I've made investments in Tactigami and 511 stuff and stuff from Eberly Stock and stuff from no name brands, when I have a lot of stuff in pouches that I want to move from bag to bag, I wish there was a little bit more loop lining in here. And then for me personally, I think we could have dropped one of the water pouches and gave me another grab handle, because this bag does promote grabbing it from all sorts. Those are my 3 nitpicks. I may have more, but those are the ones that kind of like jump out at me. This has fully replaced my rucking bag. My rucking bag before this was just a little bit, I was mostly using the Go Ruck GR2 Dyneema, which I liked a lot, but this has more versatility, especially if it bringing a poncho with me, because it does rain sometimes when I'm actually on a ruck. I have this thing loaded out like a get home bag, so I'm going to give you ideas of how you could use it for that. Of course, you can imagine this however you want. 330D, so nylon for this bag, which makes it lightweight. It may not be as resistant to tearing as some stronger fabrics, but you're not going to have to worry about tearing up your clothes. 500D on the actual molly area itself, because you are attaching stuff to it. You want this to be a little bit more resistant to things that are being attached to it. Very good padding. It offers foam in the very back here, which creates a separation and gives you an opportunity for your back to breathe. But this foam is really well done. Huge gaping area in the middle for that just airflow. When you're wearing this for a long time, it does feel like moisture wicking, both on the actual insides of the sleeves and on these pads themselves, which I think are significantly better than the Ready Pack, which is why I said that this might be a better buy for you if you're looking for this bag to be the ultimate versatile item for you. It does offer a waist strap for a heavier load, but it's almost kind of useless because it's not padded. But if you need it, you have it, so be it. You could completely remove this if you want to, but it's so neatly done and compressed. I'm just going to leave it as is. On the shoulder straps themselves, both of them are zippered. And I guess this is probably my last nitpick. These are zippered, great for headphones, flashlight, medicine, snacks, whatever. But whenever you're wearing this bag, you lose a lot of space for where you might want to put I like to attach lights to, normally to carabiner placement points or to strap placement points. when this is on my body, this area is way up high, and you can't actually use this area for anything reasonable. So you can't strap a camera up here. You wouldn't want to put a light up here because it's going to be pointing towards the sky instead of pointing forward. So these are nice pockets, but I probably could have did with one instead of two when it came to these pockets. I do have the O light, O bulb here, which is good for signaling if I'm rucking, so people in front of me can see. I have a cliff bar in here if I need it for whatever reason, especially if I'm getting lightheaded. And then in here, I do have a compass and a whistle. Now, when I'm rucking, I normally will put earbuds in here, or I will put my cell phone in here because it kind of like barely fits. Like I can kind of stuff it in here like this, and then my cell phone can go in this pocket whenever I'm rucking, and I don't have to worry about it sweating it out being in my pants. But, and you know, just in case I were to lose that compass that's on the outside and lose the other compass as well, that's why I think it's incredibly important to also wear a real watch, a field watch specifically. And that's why I am rocking today's video sponsor, which is Ver, and their A5 tactical field watch. This is one of my favorite watches coming in from Ver. This is similar to their C5 tactical line, but the difference with this one is it is rocking a automatic movement, and you can see that automatic movement through the back of the case itself. This thing is extremely accurate. I've worn this thing with a suit on. I have worn this thing to different parties. I've worn this out of town. I've worn this rucking. This is truly the #1 watch for me when it comes to office wear, to rucking, to cutting the grass and back again. It gets the job done with all of them. Now, behind me, I have a very, very expensive watch holder. You can kind of see it over my shoulder, that red thing. That has all automatic movement watches. Some from Ver, some from some of their competitors. This is one of my most accurate and loses the least amount of seconds per week compared to some of their competitors. And I'm thoroughly impressed by that, because there's some in there that cost much more than this one, and this stays accurate for much longer. You were to lose that compass, this watch literally can come in saving your life. Much better than a smartwatch. This can help you figure out which way is south. I think it looks really good. Sometimes about your watches is you got to feel good about how they look overall. And if you look at this, you can actually see the movement in the rear of the watch, which I think is fantastic when it comes to this. Similar to its little brother, the C5 Tactical, this just kind of just takes it to the next level when it comes to aesthetics. And I think that's why I like this so much. It does come with 2 watch straps, just like the C5, except for this one, I am really hoping to get my hands on a black bracelet with this one. This is, I think, the perfect transition watch. If you've been rocking mostly battery powered, mostly quartz movement watches, and you're trying to figure out what's going to be my first automatic movement watch, still feels like it can be rugged, still can be worn in an office environment. This is 40 millimeters, which I normally oftentimes would suggest is probably my max for me personally for the size of my wrist. And I'll show you what this looks like. I absolutely love the way the 40 millimeter looks when it comes to this sizing. I think this is a great transition when it comes to the automatic movement watch. For a lot of folks, I don't think you should dive all the way in until you know you like it. And this is one of those watches where you get it, you figure out you like it, and then you may make no other purchases. Use the code on the screen to get 10% off this watch or any other eligible watch on Ver's website. And shout out to Ver for sponsoring today's video. This is a great companion. If you were to lose a compass and you needed to figure out how to find south, and I'll link that video up that shows you how to do that also at the end of this one. The bag itself, I mentioned 330D, lots of attachment points, lots of points for you to cinch this bag down if you needed to. So this is area here if you needed to. If you have something longer in this pocket, you can also use this to compress the bag down a little bit more. If you wanted an Nalgene bottle, it can go in here easily, no issues whatsoever. So as mentioned, over here on this side in this, I do have a Grail water filter. These things are fantastic. I have the Camp Cup edition, so you can use this to boil water in or cook in or whatever. This thing can filter out all sorts of pathogens out of water. It's pricey, but worth it if you're going to be possibly walking or trying to get home from a scenario that is not really predictable what type of water sources you're going to get in. As mentioned, it can accommodate a Nalgene bottle. I just wanted to show you what that looks like before I move on. So just in case you do have a Nalgene, it will go in there pretty easily. Especially so if that's your primary source, then you know you're good to go. Over here, I keep pepper gel. Now, I wish I could put this pepper gel on the sleeve of the bag, but I mentioned earlier those carabiner points are just too high. This looks absolutely ridiculous up that high, but I like to keep pepper gel at the ready just because you never know if you want to just carry this in your hand. If you are using this in a get home situation, it could be because of civil unrest, without rule of law, whatever. You want to have a way to protect yourself without going to deadly force. So that might be important to you. Let's talk about what I keep up here on the front. So I have mosquito repellent. So this is a bag I use for rucking purposes. And whenever I make stops, when I'm rucking, I just don't want to get bit up to hell. These Nightcore mosquito repellent things, I mean, are they like God tier? No, but they work pretty good. I feel like when I stop for 10 minutes somewhere, if I'm, a park bench to the woods, this thing seems to repel mosquitoes pretty good. So I keep that there. Here I do have my outboard flashlight. I normally have a flashlight in my pocket, but I have recently picked up the Streamlight Mega Stream. This is a big boy flashlight. I think they just came out with the larger candela, larger emitter Mega Stream. Might want to check that out as well, but I like to have something with me. This has a momentary switch, so I can use it for signaling. It's normally always has more candela and a better emitter than the flashlight that's in my pocket. So it's just nice to be able to have that out here just in case I need it. And then right here, I just keep a climbing rated carabiner, which I don't intend to use to climb, but mainly if I just need to hang this bag off of something, I have it kind of swirls up and keeps this thing from coming untied or undone. As you can see, I do have mine kind of packed out with a poncho, which kind of makes it for why it is so fat right now. But I'll take that out just to kind of show you what it would look like if it were not so done so. But you can put a helmet in here. You can put a rain jacket, a poncho, a bunch of snacks for your kids. So I do have a Glory Fire poncho in here, which you can use as a tarp. You can use as a rain catch. It's kind of like a one and done type of stuff. But if you didn't have that in there, you see how this would sit. It would sit very flush, and aesthetically it looks fantastic. But because they made that decision to not expand traditionally, you do have your items becoming canted when you put stuff in there. So that's something you want to think about. A little bit of loop, hook and loop area here if you want to label this as a medical bag, or if you're on a part of our search and rescue team, or just for your REs, you can put whatever you want to in this area. They do have a half zipped rapid access pull tab. This is an improvement, I believe, over the ReadyPack 3.0. The ReadyPack 3.0 has this, like, when you access the CCW compartment of this bag, it feels like you're accessing this big bottomless pit of just, look how big the CCW area is. And this whole back area can be used for CCW. It almost feels like wasted space. It does have a one-upper because if you put armor in here, you can hold the bag like this and use it, to kind of protect yourself. They got rid of that just big, huge CCW compartment, and they've gone with this half zip area, which I like. It still gives you the rapid access pull tab. You can pull down, sling the bag around, and you can still access your weapon, and then versus having to constantly worry about the thing actually wasting space if you were to have this in a different area of your bag. So I like that a lot. Even when the bag is canted, if you train with this, go to a range where you can take it off, pull it on, or even if you just go rucking, like get used to slinging it off, pulling this tab down easily if you want to be able to use this very, very quickly. One thing about the main compartment, it's comprised of 4 zippers. Okay, so I have 2 zippers up here at the top, keeping the main compartment closed, right? But then you can also access the main compartment with these zippers down here. So if you need to peek in there, grab something real quick, you can. All the zippers are lockable. So you can come down here, and if you have a TSA lock, you can actually lock this to the nylon part of this bag right here. Same on the other side, you can lock this. And at the very top, you can lock these zippers together if you need it to, so that no one can access inside the bag. Now, a thief is going to be a thief. He or she's still going to find out how to get in the bag, but it just keeps from quick access to the bag. Still, one of the best things I like about VertX bags is just like built-in grab handle. So if an item is laying on the ground like this, you pick it up right here, you grab it off the ground, That does make it so it's easier to get off the ground when it's laying, especially a seat in front of you of a airplane or something like that, or a bus. That makes life a lot easier. Very, very top up here is a padded area designed to store your sunglasses. I particularly have a headlamp and sunglasses up here because it's a huge area. So it almost feels like wasted space to only have sunglasses up there. Loop panel at the top where I just put another RE. You can do whatever you want with that, but so kind of just full-fledged. Now let me show you what this thing looks like when it's all the way open. Now this is, you can do a half zip, right? So if you want to, you can go to a half open like this. And when you do that, you kind of see that it will fully open up, or it will not fully open up. It will stay still, especially if you have something in the front. It makes this half zip action that much easier. I have some sunglasses in here, kind of makes it even easier for flapping open. The very top, I have a full-size tarp, and this thing has, this is pretty good. It's relatively affordable, has grommets in it, so you can use it for sleeping, you know, wind protection, whatever. So I'm gonna fully open this thing up just to show you what it looks like when you go full open. So you see how this looks if you were to decide to open it all the way up for loading purposes, or if you got to your destination, you just want to be able to see everything inside. This is pretty dope. But what I mentioned earlier about one of my nitpicks when it came to the loop handling is that you get loop right here, but you don't get any up here. And I feel like VertX is stepping back a little bit, and they went back to organization. It feels like the Ready Pack of yesteryear, right? Same over here. You get loop panel right here, and then you get organization up here. And it's okay if that's what you're down with. You do see this little holder right here. So if you want to run comms or a water bladder, this will hold that strap, and then you can run it down through and run it down to your shoulder strap by running it through this top area up here. So I just have like a photon light, because if I do that half zip type action, it's not dark in there because it is a light color, but just to have this little light in there does make it a little bit easier to see. And you can see that this thing is easy to kind of pack out how you see fit. So the very pack, I have a 65-watt solar panel. So if I am getting home, I should be able to charge my cell phone while I'm on the go. In front of that, I have a Faraday bag just in case there's an issue going on where I don't want to be tracked. I can put all my electronics inside this bag, and it will block all of the signal that's coming from those. Let me show you what it looks like. I'll lay it down. It's just a little bit easier to see. So the Faraday bag is here. And then in front of that, I do have these like half mollies, just in case I want to take the flashlight out of my pocket. And then even here, if I want to, I can put another one here. So if I want to take the flashlight or knife out of my pocket and put them in this bag, I have a home for them already. Faraday bag as mentioned. Then below that is just a very large admin panel by Eberly stock, which has fire starting materials. It has a sewing kit. It has an additional compass, ferro rod, all that type of stuff that I might need just in case, but I don't need to have them on the fly at all times. So mini survival kits, a beeswax candle, really packed bags, just in case I'm filtering water with that grill and I want to be able to store extra water. A little bit of nylon. It's not 550 rated because I do have 550 cord in here. Just like a mini survival kit. Signal tape. It's kind of like a mini survival kit that I put together that if I'm trying to get home, this might be beneficial for me for any type of items that I may have with me. All right. Next to that is a chem light. I don't have it in the pack because I want to be able to grab that quickly. Now, both of these pockets on the inside of the bag share the water bottle pocket on the other side. So if you decide to put something in either one of these pockets, just know that it is sharing space. So here I do have Montana Knife Company and their Sear 25 as a survival knife. This thing is fantastic and 100% will recommend that if you can afford it. And then you have these zippered spaces up here. And here I just have a redundant item because in one of those front mini pockets, I'll show you in a second, I have a compass. But just in case that were to get lost or whatever, a redundant feature is a second compass so I can find my way. And then we move on to the other side of the bag. So the other side of the bag, first off, just kind of sitting in the top of the bag is my 4-in-1 paracord cutter. It stores the paracord, cuts the paracord. You can hang this thing with like a carabiner, and then in the very bottom is a big lighter so that I can burn the paracord. if I, for whatever reason. So it's pretty, I forgot how much is in here, but plenty of additional paracord just in case you need to tie some stuff up. Here is just a blank area if I want to take my phone out of my pocket, put it in this bag. I do have this little storage area if I have a battery bank or whatever, additional snacks, I can put them there. This is a med kit, not a trauma kit, more of an ouchie boo-boo on steroids. So it does have an emergency blanket. It does have insect bite. It has some gauze. It has a little bit more than just ouchie boo-boo, but nothing specifically trauma related. Normally in my vehicle, I have a trauma kit, and I would grab that and throw that in this bag if I were trying to get home. This is where it's force organization at the top here. So they have these pin holders, which I don't have any design for. This is where loop paneling would have been cool because I could have just threw whatever I wanted to right here. And then you have this area right here with a little bit of loop paneling, but this is molly, kind of like some elastic bands, almost molly webbing right here. So here I do have the top to my grill filter because you can cook with that, as I mentioned. And then I have a mini survival guide by Randall Adventure Company because I don't remember everything underneath the sun. Signaling procedures, how to use a compass, different survival techniques, how to use signal tape. This thing is pretty handy for just things that you don't know how to do or things you've forgotten how to do. Cliff bar. This is a second cliff bar. I can eat. I have another one in the shoulder strap of the actual bag itself. And then back here, I do have a Write in the Rain pen. And of course, this is Randall's Adventure, but it's also Write in the Rain paper. So I can write on this paper as well if I need to. If I need to take notes or leave a note or whatever. But this is other than those small nitpicks, this is a great bag. And I like the half zip feature of this. This is not one of those accidental fully opening type of bags. I just opened this thing fully for you guys, but I haven't opened this thing fully since I packed it, okay? When I get to a destination, it is extremely easy to just do that. It does not flop open on you. It doesn't do too much. This makes life that much easier. So I like the fact that you can flop it open. But if it did have that loop paneling, I would be able to put some stuff right there. I kind of wish it did have that, but it is what it is. So zip this up. Last thing to show you what's in here. And then a hero clip at the very top to hold this entire bag to a surface or whatnot. So what do I think of the VertX Siege? I believe that this bag is worth it. There are comparables you could think of, you know, kind of like the some bags from 511 that I've checked out in the past. Those bags are cool and all, but I think the versatility of this is very, very nice. Even some stuff from Tag, some stuff you get from Eberly stock, stuff that's coming in from Mystery Ranch. This gives me Mystery Ranch vibes, but without the Mystery Ranch pricing. It is over $200, but one thing is I can't control pricing of these companies. They sent this bag out to me for free. They're not paying me to do this video. Matter of fact, they didn't even know that I was doing this video. And one thing I failed to mention, that this is compatible with armor. And one thing is with the armor itself is that you access it. It is hard to access, but it's not a reason to be really going in and out of here. The armor is put in at the very bottom of the bag, underneath this area. And I want to just kind of pull it out a little bit, but I have mine in here pretty good. So you take this apart, and you can put, I have level 3A armor in here by Premier Body Armor. So that's in here by Premier Body Armor. Put it back because I don't want to go through the headache of trying to put it back. Premier Body Armor has made a lot of good relationships with these companies. So you're going to be confident to know that you're going to be able to rock this thing out. But hey, if you keep this thing pretty much kind of how I packed it out, I mean, I don't always put the poncho in front of here because I like the way this looks slicked down, and that poncho does expand it. So if I'm going rucking or something like that, I do check the weather. And if there is just like barely any chance of rain, I'm not going to put it in there because I like the way this looks. But if there is a chance, or if I didn't have time to check it, or if I just want the poncho to have a home, it stays in front of there because it is what it is. As I mentioned, these are those carabiner areas up here where you can't really put a light. Doesn't really make sense to do like I normally would do with those lights. So if this is your first time stopping by, hopefully this video was helped to inform you on whether the VertX Siege 25 lead is going to work for you. I don't own the sling bag. I know Last Line of Defense featured that on his channel, so you can go check that out. That might work out for you as well. But this is still a buy it now type of thing. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grave. Hey guys, hit that subscribe button, join the battalion. I would love to have you guys here more often. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.